All right. So our next story here, picking up on the takeover of Gaza, the continuing destruction of the Palestinian people and their freedoms and their rights, and the takeover with Trump and all his technocratic buddies. You know, first of all, anybody who thinks that there's a ceasefire going on, guys, you got your head up your ass. There never was a ceasefire. They never stopped killing Palestinians, and people will try to spin it however they want. I'm not even going to try to get into that tonight. Just know that. Just know that there's never been a real ceasefire. The Palestinians have still been under danger. And Trump and his technocratic team, including his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, are taking over, and they're going to eventually sell real estate there like they've been talking about for years. This is coming from the Telegraph. Trump's son-in-law to run Gaza with Tony Blair. Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff will help rebuild the war-torn Strip, but the moment of truth rests with Hamas agreeing to disarm. Steve Witkoff and Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, will help run Gaza, Western officials have said. The negotiators, who both played key roles in securing the quote-unquote ceasefire, will be involved in the practical rebuilding of the war-torn Strip under U.S. plans announced this month. And I talked about this, how Trump has said there's going to be a technocratic peace committee with Tony Blair involved. And actually, we're going to search in just a moment, because I think I've seen more recent stories saying that Tony Blair is no longer involved. But either way, the involvement of Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, who are just, Trump allies and Zionists, is not a good thing. The formula, which now has the UN backing, was largely devised over the summer by Mr. Kushner and Sir Tony. Of course, Jared Kushner, again, an outright advocate, adamant Zionist, is part of this. Why the hell is he in that position? Because he's Trump's son-in-law. This guy has no experience. What is his qualifications? He has none. The pair have been close ever since the former British Prime Minister helped Mr. Kushner achieve the Abraham Accords agreement between Israel, the UAE, and others in Trump's first term. The Executive Management Board will oversee a committee of 12 to 15 Palestinian technocrats. As I've been reporting on, they're normalizing this term, with no links to Hamas or Fatah. The Board of Peace, Orwellianly named, the board with the ultimate authority will comprise heads of Arab and European countries, such as Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. So we've talked about this. This is literally just outside forces controlling the future, the destiny of Gaza and of the Palestinian people. Let's go ahead and search. I just want to make sure we get the latest Tony Blair, Gaza. Let's just see what there's there, because I believe, here we go. Tony Blair ruled out of Trump's proposed Gaza peace plan. That's coming from Al Jazeera. Critics don't want Tony Blair in post-war Gaza. Tony Blair speaks to Gaza about the need. Tony Blair out of running for the Board of Peace. So yeah, this is being reported that he's no longer involved. Nevertheless, I would still suspect that the Tony Blair Global Institute, which I reported on a couple of weeks ago, a month or two ago, is still going to have some role. Blair was the only figure named for the board when Donald Trump announced the 20-point plan to end Israel's war on Gaza. Tony Blair has been dropped from consideration for a proposed U.S.-led Board of Peace, according to the Financial Times. Blair was the only figure named for the board. So this is, again, only one source. Diplomats from several Arab and Muslim states objected to Blair's involvement. The Financial Times reported on Monday, as British Prime Minister, Blair strongly supported the U.S.-led so-called war of terror, and sent tens of thousands of British troops to join the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq in 2003. So they're saying there's some pushback. The Tony Blair Institute, they don't like him and they want him out. We'll see. But either way, the point is that whether it's Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, Tony Blair, or whoever the hell else is on this Board of Peace, it's not going to be good for the Palestinian people. The project includes proposals. Oh, no, here it talks about this. The Institute, Tony Blair Institute, was involved with the project, which was led by Israeli business figures, developing, quote, day after plans for Gaza alongside Israel business figures. This is what I mentioned before. And Trump has actually posted, you might remember a few months back, this AI video of him and Netanyahu and Elon Musk, like on the beaches of Gaza after they redevelop it. The project included proposals for a coastal resort called Trump Riviera and a manufacturing hub named after Elon Musk. Ideas that critics say ignore human rights and threaten Palestinians with displacement. So we'll see if Tony Blair actually makes it. But like I said, I reported on this a couple months ago, or last month in November. The technocratic Trump administration, the Zionist infiltration expands. The Ellisons and the Zionists take over TikTok. I talked about that. We talked about this, where are we at? The Technocratic Gaza peace plan right here. And so As I said, then the Gaza will be governed by a temporary transitional governance of a technocratic, apolitical Palestinian committee. Board of Peace will be headed and chaired by Trump, with other members to be announced soon, including former Prime Minister Tony Blair. So we'll see if Blair does end up making it, but Jared Kushner is going to be involved. Steve Witkoff is going to be involved. Rest assured, other Zionists and other technocrats on Trump's team are going to be involved one way or the other. So even if they give us a break and they take out Tony Blair, like, okay, cool, thanks for that. The other people you've got involved aren't much better. I don't think it's going to be a huge win for the Palestinian people. And I'm sorry to say, but I think this is one of the saddest developments of 2025. 2025 has been a big year in a lot of ways. A lot of, I think, some positive developments, a lot of bad things, and the takeover of Gaza and the celebrating of it as some sort of peace movement is, I think, one of the worst developments